At 63, Garth Brooks finally shares the real story about Toby Keith. Garth Brooks was born on February 7, 1962, in Tulsa, Oklahoma, as the youngest kid in his family. His dad, Troy Raymond Brooks, worked as a person who draws building plans, showing his kids what hard work and discipline looked like. His mom, Colleen Carroll, had been a really good country musician back in the 1950s, playing at local shows and helping her children fall in love with music. Growing up in a home where music played every single day, Brooks heard classic country, bluegrass, and folk music from the time he was very little. His mom was especially important in helping him love music early on, often teaching him songs and telling him to try different instruments. By the time he was just a kid, Brooks had already started learning how to play the guitar and banjo, showing skills that would later become super important for his music career. Even though he was around music all the time, young Garth's first loves were actually sports more than performing, but he often sang at family get-togethers, local events, and small community parties, showing a natural way of being on stage that gave hints about his future fame. During his school years, Brooks was really good at many sports, including football, baseball, and track and field, showing an unusual mix of athletic talent and hard work. His sports skills earned him a track scholarship to Oklahoma State University in Stillwater, where he went to school and graduated in 1984. Even while working toward his school and sports goals, Brooks couldn't ignore his love for music. While at college, he started performing in clubs, bars, and local spots around Oklahoma, getting better at his craft, learning how to connect with crowds, and trying out different styles of country music. His performances got noticed by many local music fans, but it was an entertainment consultant named Rod Phelps, who drove from Dallas just to hear Brooks perform, that would totally change his career path. In 1985, Phelps saw the young singer's natural talent and charm, telling him to chase music as a real job. Phelps offered to produce Brooks' first demo recording, a super important chance that meant Brooks had to travel to Nashville, the center of the country music world, to record. Even though he went back home to Oklahoma the same day at first, Brooks eventually listened to Phelps's constant encouragement and went back to Nashville in 1987, setting up his amazing rise to fame. In 1989, Garth Brooks put out his first album, with his own name on it, marking the official start of his professional music career. The album quickly became a huge hit, shooting Brooks into the spotlight and making him one of country music's new rising stars. It immediately made it onto the U.S. Country Albums chart and reached number 13 on the Billboard 200, which was a really impressive thing for a brand new artist. The song "Much Too Young to Feel This Damn Old" got praise from both critics and fans, helping to show Brooks' special mix of traditional country with modern storytelling. After this big break, his second album, No Fences, came out in 1990 and became an even bigger success, claiming the #1 spot on the Billboard Country Music chart for many weeks. This album made Brooks's reputation solid as someone breaking new ground in modern country with songs that connected deeply with fans all across the nation. In 1991, Brooks put out his third album, Rope in the Wind, which got wide praise from critics and showed his ability to do many different things as an artist. Hit songs like Shameless, What She's Doing Now, and The River became anthems of that time, played all the time in clubs and on country radio stations, making his fan base even bigger. The next year, on September 22, 1992, Brooks released his fourth album, The Chase. Its first single, We Shall Be Free, was a bold gospel country rock mix inspired by social and political events, especially the race riots in Los Angeles, which Brooks helped write as a way to show his hope for people coming together and understanding each other. Other singles from the album, including Somewhere Other Than the Night and Learning to Live Again, connected even more with listeners. While the final single, That Summer, became one of the most successful and long-lasting hits of his whole career. Brooks kept his winning streak going with the release of In Pieces on August 31, 1993, which, like his earlier albums, got both critical praise and sold really well. In 1995, he followed this with Fresh Horses, featuring the hit single She's Every Woman, which climbed into the top 10 on the Billboard Country chart, proving again his steady ability to make chart-topping music. His seventh album, Sevens, released in 1997, showed even more his skill in mixing traditional country with modern influences, showing his constantly changing artistry. After this time, Brooks tried other creative projects, including film work and different entertainment businesses, before announcing he was retiring from recording and touring in 2000 when he was at the peak of his fame. However, Brooks' musical journey wasn't even close to being over. On November 13, 2001, he released Scarecrow, which, even though it wasn't as massively successful as some of his earlier work, still showed his amazing songwriting and singing talents. After a really long break, Brooks came back to the stage and recording studio in 2009, making fans all around the world excited with his live shows and new recordings. His most recent major public performance happened in April 2013 at the 48th Annual Academy of Country Music Awards, marking an important moment in a career that has lasted for decades and completely changed the landscape of country music. Garth Brooks' personal life, especially his marriages, has been an important part of his story, showing both his growth as a person and the challenges of balancing fame, family, and career. His first marriage was to Sandy Mall, a relationship that started in the mid-1980s. Garth and Sandy got married in 1986 at a time when Brooks was still rising up in the country music scene, working hard to make himself one of Nashville's most promising talents. Sandy Mall was really important in his early personal life, giving him support as he dealt with the demands of a quickly growing music career. Their marriage lasted for 15 years, during which they had both happy times and struggles that are common to many couples, but made more intense by the pressures of fame and public attention. Sadly, the marriage ended in divorce in 2001, marking the end of a time period in Brooks' personal life. Even after the separation, Garth has often spoken with respect about his early years with Sandy, saying thanks for the role she played in his life during an important period both personally and professionally. After this chapter, Garth Brooks found love again with another country music superstar, Trisha Yearwood. They got married in 2005, bringing together two of country music's most loved people. Unlike his first marriage, Brooks's relationship with Trisha Yearwood has often been shown as a partnership built on treating each other with respect, shared interests, and a deep understanding of the special demands of life in the public eye. Their marriage not only represents a personal win for Brooks, but also a joining of two famous careers, as both have supported each other's artistic projects while keeping their own professional identities. Trisha has been a loyal companion and partner, standing next to Brooks through the good times and bad times of his legendary career, including world tours, award shows, and major life events. Together, they have built a life that balances family, love, and the public spotlight, showing strength and commitment that have made them loved by fans all around the world. Their marriage has become a symbol of lasting love in the often rocky world of celebrity relationships, showing Garth Brooks' growth and the life-changing power of finding a partner who truly understands one's life and passions. At 63, Garth Brooks finally opened up about his complicated relationship with another country superstar, Toby Keith, explaining years of guessing, misunderstandings, and the occasional rivalry that had made fans curious for decades. Known for his deep respect for the country music tradition, Brooks has always been a private man when it comes to problems in the industry, often brushing off questions with humor or unclear comments. Yet, in a recent Honest interview, he decided it was time to set the record straight and share his unfiltered thoughts on Keith, a person who has long been both a peer and a seen-as competitor in the country music world. Brooks's big reveal didn't come easily. It was the result of years of thinking about fame, friendship, and the sometimes tough realities of being in a highly competitive industry. He admitted that over time the media had often made their differences seem bigger, creating a story of tension that didn't entirely show the truth. In his words, people love to put us against each other to make it seem like there's bad feelings where there isn't. Toby and I have had our moments, sure, but it's been blown way out of proportion. Brooks went on to explain the early days of when he first knew about Toby Keith as a rising star in the 1990s, a time when country music was going through big changes. When Toby came onto the scene, I recognized his talent right away. The man has a voice that grabs your attention and a songwriting skill that can't be taught, Brooks said. He remembered that at first there was a natural comparison between them as both were making spaces for themselves in a changing musical world that was mixing traditional country with rock and pop sounds. Brooks admitted that the competitive feelings that push artists in any type of music sometimes created tension, not because of personal dislike, but because of the intense desire to succeed and make a mark. We were both trying to figure out where we fit in a changing world, he said. But over the years, I came to appreciate him not just as an artist, but as a person who has fought hard for everything he's achieved. Garth Brooks also talked about the misunderstandings that came up from industry gossip, social media guessing, and fan-driven arguments. There were times when someone would read too much into a comment or an interview would be taken out of context and suddenly it was Garth doesn't like Toby. That's not how it was. We've had disagreements like anyone in a competitive field, but I've always respected his dedication and his drive. Brooks pointed out that the pressure of being constantly in the public eye can make every small disagreement bigger, creating stories that sometimes cover up the real relationships between artists. He mentioned that both he and Keith share a deep love for country music, a commitment to storytelling, and a desire to connect with fans in a meaningful way, common ground that in the end outweighs any past friction. At the end of the day, it's about the music and the fans. Toby and I have always understood that even if we occasionally bump heads. Finally, Brooks thought about what made him want to speak openly at this point in his life. I'm 63 now and I've realized that there's value in honesty, he said. People think they know everything about our lives because they see headlines, but the truth is often far more complicated. I wanted to clear the air, not to stir up drama, but to give a real picture of our relationship. He expressed admiration for Keith's toughness in the industry, his willingness to take risks, and his ability to stay authentic. Despite the pressures of fame, Brooks's comments show a man who has grown up, learned from experience, and recognized that respect among peers is more important than keeping myths of rivalry going. By finally speaking honestly, Brooks has not only fixed wrong ideas, but has also shown the kind of honesty and humility that has earned him a lasting place in country music history. We're in this together, he concluded. Country music is bigger than any one of us, and I've always believed that supporting each other makes the whole industry stronger. Toby knows it, I know it, and now hopefully everyone else does too. Garth Brooks stands as one of the most celebrated and influential people in country music history, a special position that is shown in his remarkable list of awards. Over the course of his amazing career, he has received an impressive 14 Grammy nominations, proof of his lasting talent and the universal appeal of his music. Out of these nominations, Brooks has proudly taken home 2 prized Grammy Awards each, marking an important milestone in his musical journey. His first Grammy came for the groundbreaking album Rope in the Wind, earning him the award for Best Country Vocal Performance, a recognition that highlighted his extraordinary ability to connect with audiences through both heartfelt lyrics and powerful vocal delivery.